Welcome back. We are back for another episode with just Greg and I. So it is a values episode. So we've done a couple of these already. We have done an episode on resilience with the two of us, as well as adventure, which are a few of our values. We have 6 of them total. So the third value we're going to be digging into today is all around gratitude. And what is gratitude? So when we kind of looked at like what does that mean? What is gratitude? Gratitude is both a feeling and a practice. So it's that awareness of what's good in your lives and the intentional choice to actually acknowledge it and honor it. So we loved that. I think we love the description of that, where it's both, a feeling. You can feel grateful, but then also a practice. You can actually action your gratitude as well. So, and the reason we're kind of diving into this particular value for this episode is the timing of it. We are just coming off of we hosted our first ever Waypoint Retreat, and I think we're quite literally bursting with gratitude. So we've had a chance to catch our breath, and we're just overwhelmed with the experience. It was so wonderful, and we just feel a ton of gratitude for being able to run that retreat, to do the work that we're doing, for the people that attended, for the support that we received. We just have a ton of gratitude to express. So we thought it was a great time to dig into that.
So why gratitude is important to us? I think it's a word we throw around a lot, and just day to day of feeling grateful for this or that, or having a gratitude practice or a gratitude journal. But that definition, Whitney, that you just talked about, that you just shared, I think really hones in on something nicely, that it's a practice. It's about being intentional and present. And the idea that we've talked about in other episodes of this podcast is autopilot is how we can get stuck. There's a mode of life that we can just get stuck in. And living without gratitude effectively is being in that autopilot mode of just being stuck in a cycle of moving from one thing to the next and not really being mindful or aware of all the amazing things that we have around us. And I mean, if you're in a situation where you have $1,000 iPhone with AirPods or whatever headphones you're using and listening to this podcast, there is probably so much around you that, yes, is stressful and hard and challenging. But if you take another lens at it, there's probably so much to be grateful for as well.
Yeah.
And when we think about gratitude, it's that idea of having that intentional presence and trying to remember that, because we suck at that so often. We're raising 4 kids. It's not easy. It's not easy to look around and feel present and grateful all the time.
No.
But this value is very much something that's important to us and is very much a reminder to help keep us grounded in that.
Yeah, it's really easy to take things for granted, right? It's like you're kind of living your life day to day, and it's great. It's really good to pause and write things down. Or we're actually going to give you some tips on how to incorporate more gratitude into your lives in a little bit. So we'll talk about that. We do want to talk a bit about Waypoint, but also going to give listeners just some tips and ways that you can practice more gratitude for yourself.
Yeah. I think when we started this whole thing, Whitney, on this theme of gratitude, how we thought we might put that into action and just be more present was actually, and I think when we did the values exercise at first, it was the word that came to mind was generous. And there's a really strong link to this idea of gratitude, I think. But we wanted to be generous with ideas. We wanted to be generous with people who came in and either took our program or were willing to have a conversation with us, and always just try to bring and give them value in some way. And we felt like if we were aware of the things that we had, whether it was ideas or a way to help, and if we could kind of take our gratitude for what those things are and turn it into generosity and just something that was in service of somebody else, whether it was for $1,000 or for $0, we felt like that would just put the right kind of energy into the world. And it really has. This year, and we're not even done yet, has just been full of so many incredible people coming into our lives and conversations that we've had on this podcast and also just off of it. And Waypoint, of course, being a huge part of the culmination, I think, of people coming together with this sort of intentional practice of being present and being grateful for where we were and what had been created. So before we jump into it, we created a 3-part framework for everyone who attended Waypoint to journey with us in those days and the time that we were spending together at beautiful Whispering Springs in Grafton, Ontario.
It was beautiful.
And it was a three-part framework.
Shocking. If anyone knows Greg Boyd, he loves everything in threes. So we had
Yes.
created a 3-part framework for Waypoint.
Yeah, at one point it was going to be 4, but 4 is too many.
No, 3. It's
3.
gotta be 3.
3 is just right. But it was pause, and we're going to actually talk a little bit more about pause in this conversation. Prioritize and pursue. And the aim was to provide a space for everyone who joined us to get clarity on where they wanted to be a year from now. And that was mostly through a professional lens. Some had a different take on it, which was great that they took it in their own direction. But
Mhm.
the idea just to get that clarity of where you'd want to be a year from now. And we just saw that, I think, once people had that opportunity to take away that big question, we just saw a genuine connection between the people who were there and people engaging with us. And even, I think, we found ourselves sinking into that mode of just looking around us and feeling totally
Mhm.
present in the conversations we were having.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when we first kicked off Waypoint, so we kind of had an icebreaker, which was fun, but we started the whole like the whole retreat. We just started with gratitude, right? We just had to acknowledge what a privilege it was. Like, not many people can take the time away from work or spend the money on something like that for themselves. So I think it was just a huge, we were just grateful for that, and the fact that we acknowledged our privilege, and that we had the opportunity to actually step away from our day to day, the people that were there, and it takes a lot to make that happen. That's the way we kicked off Waypoint when we were there. So that was cool. So it kind of felt like the top of the mountain of gratitude, if you will. But yeah, and then just maybe toot our own horn for a minute. We did get wonderful reviews from Waypoint, which was great. And I'm just going to read one of them. And it was a bit of gratitude for the two of us for putting on Waypoint. And it was someone that had just said, "I left feeling incredibly refreshed, confident, and eagerly excited to fulfill my greatest desires with the actionable conviction I felt through attending the retreat. There's not enough gratitude to share with Whitney and Greg for this experience. I left wanting more time and connection with the incredible Waypoint family that we formed." Oh, kind of makes me emotional reading it. It's just, it was pretty special. And this isn't all about us, but we just wanted to take a minute and share that.
Well, and I think, and the point of which is, I think starting with gratitude, I think it gave everybody this deep sense of of there just being a cycle, and I think it was reciprocated through the whole experience.
Yeah.
And we were genuinely grateful for everyone who attended and for the trust that everyone put in us for being there. We had incredible sponsors that helped put this whole thing together. Shout out specifically to Whispering Springs, Holly Crescent, our caterer, and then Good Vibes Juice Co. There were a number of others, but those in particular really stepped in and made this an experience that was special for the people that were there.
Yeah.
And then I think a really cool one is our co-parents and friends and family of
Mm.
Ryan and Victoria, who took on the work of just taking care of the kids for a couple of days, like
Yeah.
everyone had to arrange. We had to do that too.
Yeah, we did. Please watch 4 children for 3 days while we go do this thing. Like, not a small ask, for sure. So lots of love going that way.
Lots of love. And so we started with gratitude. We got gratitude in return. And I think, to your point, Whitney, this really isn't all about us, and it's not just about Waypoint itself, but thinking about that and the high that we were on and continue to be on from that experience, I think we're living the benefits that can come from gratitude.
Yeah.
So before we get into the how-tos of practicing it, let's talk about 3 of the benefits of gratitude that
Three.
kind of
There are 3
3
benefits.
benefits,
There's gotta be more, but
which actually we have talked about this in other episodes. Usually I'm the person pulling the research, but these are some of your
I
notes that
did.
you pulled
I did
together.
do a bit of that
Not
this
bad.
time around. Yeah.
Not bad, Boyd. All right, so let's go through the first one. And none of these are surprising, but always good to anchor. If you practice gratitude, you get gratitude in return, and it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. Uh, the first benefit of gratitude is just the brain science demonstrates or shows that it activates the brain's reward system, dopamine and serotonin release. It's those feel good chemicals in your brain. So as you practice it, you actually feel it. Your brain has a positive reaction to gratitude, and it just creates a positive baseline mood in your own brain. So if you're not feeling overly happy, overly present, overly calm, having that practice of gratitude can actually create that sense of happiness and
Yeah,
calm in your own brain.
for sure. I think that's true.
You can trick yourself. You can make yourself happier just by being taking a moment and being grateful. And there's actually an incredible video, TED Talk from a number of years ago that we will be sharing in our upcoming edition of the Vienna 5 that hits on just that. If you want to be happy, be grateful. That's
Nice.
the first one.
That's first one. Number 2, so second benefit is relationships. And this is a big one. So practicing gratitude and, saying a simple thank you, sincerely, a sincere thank you, I should say, really can deepen a connection. So there's, research on couples who've expressed gratitude. They actually report higher relationship satisfaction and stronger bonds. And that's not just for personal relationships, it can be for professional relationships as well. So in a team or workplace environment that encourages that gratitude, they have just better morale and better collaboration and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think like genuine gratitude often leads to generosity. So when you're feeling grateful, you want to give back and support others and pay it forward. So just all of that just kind of creates, this ripple effect. It strengthens your family unit, your friends, your workplaces, that type of thing. So yeah, it's really nice hearing thank you. I know you always like that. If you make me a nice dinner, you're like, can you just say thank you?
Actually, I gave you a banana this morning, and you were like, "I'm not going to eat that. Why are you giving me a banana?"
I was like, I
And
don't want a
I wasn't
banana.
looking for a compliment. That wasn't a
I should
thing.
have said thank
But
you. That's really nice of you to offer me a banana, but
no,
I
thank
don't
you.
freaking want it. That's gonna
I don't want a banana. Lead with the thank
It's
you.
true. Yeah. I got to
You
practice
looked at
more.
you looked at me like, "What is that? Why are you giving me a
I
banana?"
want the banana.
Anyway, digress for a moment. See, these values are here to remind us,
That
Whitney.
was 2.
Remind
Okay,
us.
what's the third
Yes.
one? The last
Third
one.
one. So, research shows that mental and physical benefits can be gained by practicing gratitude as well. So, the idea here is that, like we talked about before, you can actually become happier through the practice of gratitude. There are physical benefits that come along with that as well. Once you reframe your experiences and you focus first on gratitude as this idea or the lens through which you see the world, you can actually, I think it reframes the way you're going to behave and the way you're going to act. So having a more positive attitude or view toward the world can actually give you I guess, a more opportunistic or positive way to look at things like exercise or eating well.
Mhm.
And it can physically lower blood pressure, help improve your sleep, improve immunity. All those benefits can be linked to just having a positive gratitude practice by feeling calm, feeling more at peace in your body.
I know you journal every morning. Oh, you don't call it journaling. You call it reflection.
Their morning reflections, yes.
Morning reflections. Is there a gratitude piece in that you use? I'm actually curious. I don't know the answer.
So this is actually so interesting that you asked today, because I've been feeling. So we had Waypoint, and since then, both of us have expressed feeling a little bit out of sorts because I think so much work went into preparing for that, and then there was this big void of there's just not there's not a flurry of things that needed to get done the same way as it was before. So in the absence of that, I think we've both felt a little bit out of sorts, and I think another thing that went along with that for me is I was I've been feeling a little bit out of sorts, perhaps with. I mean, the kids are changing and they're growing up, and again, I think probably the absence of the prep work was making that more apparent. So just today, I spent about 10 minutes reflecting on the gratitude I have for you, Whitney, and the relationship we have, and the opportunity that we have to work together
So nice.
for all four kids. Specific things about Cole and just how he's growing and he's growing into this incredible young man. And for the other three kids, I think seeing that they're becoming more challenging, which is a reflection of the fact that they're growing and changing. And I think that I was just really grateful that they're healthy,
Mm-hmm.
growing, and that we have the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
grow and change with them. And I was able, actually, I felt everything come into sync and literally come into sync in my brain following that. Everything became clear.
Cool.
I was able to just kind of meet you where you were at this morning, make the lunches and go through the motions as we usually do, but it was with a whole different blood pressure on my side. Yeah.
Nice. See? Nice. I should do that more often. Definitely.
You won't snap at me when I offer you a banana.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and I wouldn't hold it against you if I was in a more grateful state. I would just have let it go. I wouldn't have even noticed.
Yeah, I definitely need to practice this more often. I was on a good stretch there for a while. It was like gratitude, the 5-minute journal or something. You write what you're
Mm-hmm.
grateful for. Um, and so I was doing that for a while. But yeah, I think it does help, right? I mean, even it just changes the lens at how you look at the world and the things you have and the things you don't have. And it's really easy. Um, we just got pumpkins and stuff on our front porch for
The fall season.
yeah,
Yeah.
fall, Thanksgiving. And so we just got pumpkins, but we didn't have them. And I'm like, oh, we don't have the pumpkins. And I would love to have a sauna at some point. And, it's like these things. It's like, sure, they're nice to haves, but look at all the things that we do have and just kind of pausing and taking a minute to just appreciate the things that we have an abundance of opposed to an absence of, I think is a great way to look at it. So I definitely know that I can use a bit more practice for gratitude, but it is, yeah, I think we have it as a value for a reason, not just for Vienna Waits, but also for ourselves. And I think it's just, yeah, it's really important.
One of the things that's been interesting for me, actually, now that we're talking about it, I think through for a long time in my life, there'd be this feeling I just feel, call it out of sorts, something in the pit of my stomach where I was just maybe uncomfortable or disconnected in the course of a day. And I think a lot of people probably feel that way, but don't pay attention to it, ignore it, maybe just make themselves busy with things instead of addressing it. For whatever reason, it started for me in university, I remember, and then I would always just be aware of it. And for a long time, that feeling that I was disconnected with something was always an integrity issue. Something was maybe just out of line with what I was doing, or something was out of alignment with
Mm-hmm.
what I felt was right in some way. What's really cool is since doing this work, I haven't felt that at all. I felt so great every day leaning into the work that we do together and the way we're aiming to show up into the world. But where I have felt that feeling creep back in, I think has been when I have started to focus on not the great things that we have, but just like you, the things that we're missing.
Yeah.
I wish we had more of this, or I wish we had more of that. I wish we had that, whether it's
Yeah, it's easy to do that, right? Like the compare game.
totally.
And we're actually, I'd say we're relatively good
Oh my
overall.
gosh. Yeah.
But it's hard not to.
Yeah, we didn't dig into this at Waypoint, but it's in detail, but it's a question that we like to ask and think about is would the 20-year-old version, the 15-year-old version, pick an age, would the early version of yourself look at where you are today and say, wow, that's cool,
Yeah, you're awesome.
you're awesome, like either you're doing it or you're, and the answer from one day to the next might change, but I think quite often a lot of us would say, wow, like I remember being 20 and thinking, how the hell would I ever get a mortgage or a car payment or whatever the case may be? Pick your thing. And, um, and for so many of us, we're doing it. And yes, there's things that could be better, but we're doing it.
Yeah. Hey there, quick pause and we'll get right back to the show. In January, we launched Unblock Yourself, a program designed to help people take action on an idea or a professional change that they're looking to make. Since then, we've run 3 groups. Unblockers have launched new businesses or side hustles, they've changed careers and launched initiatives to power social change. If I'm honest, we wanted it to be good, but it's been even more powerful than we could have ever imagined. Our next group kicks off in January, where we'll be helping another group of people start the new year strong and in action. If anything I said excites you or scares you, it might be what you're looking for. Learn more at vienna-waits.com/unblock yourself or email us at unblockyourself@vienna-waits.com. All right, back to the show.
So I did mention before that one of the big themes at Waypoint was this idea of pause. And we want to come back to that because this idea of pause aligns so well to the value of generosity or of gratitude. And we didn't realize when we put it out there at the beginning, but the idea of allowing space to hit pause, it was actually pretty shocking for everybody who joined us at Waypoint. The idea that everyone would have 24 hours where all they were asked to do is reflect on this one big question with some exercises to support that thought. It almost felt like gluttonous. It was so much time and space.
Yeah, it was funny. There was actually some people were like, they realized they didn't know how to be bored or not. They use the word bored. Like they didn't know how to do nothing but just sit with your thoughts and reflect. Like you have nowhere to be. There's no Wi-Fi. No one's asking you for anything. You just have to sit and reflect and like be with yourself. You can be with others there, of course, but there's just nothing to do. And it was really funny to see some people just like kind of deeply uncomfortable with that, with the like notion of that. Like, what do you mean? I always have so much to do. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
And I think we were a bit uncomfortable going into it, if we're being totally honest, that people might want more. People might say, "Well, what do you mean? You're giving us 24 hours and like where's the programming? Like we paid money to be here. Like give
Yeah,
us the 3 steps and the action-packed schedule." But the response was quite the opposite. I think by preparing the exercises and then offering, hey, if you want conversation, come here, but if you want the space, go out there and take that space. And overwhelmingly the response was gratitude for the space,
hmm,
gratitude for the opportunity to sit with the questions, and for the opportunity to just be treated like an adult. Which is
yeah,
kind of some feedback that came in the review that you shared before. I think gratitude for being in a space where they could have that space, which was, I think, a great learning for us and really cool, and really, I think, fulfilling of what is my ultimate dream to always just create flywheels out of everything. There's this gratitude flywheel, gratitude at the beginning, and just people feeling uh, appreciative of the space and the time that they had.
for sure. You love a good flywheel.
As we've said before, as we said before.
All right. One thing we did want to share. So we've come up with we'll call it a framework. It's how to practice gratitude and incorporate more gratitude into your lives, really. So there's an acronym.
We also love a good acronym.
And we
We
do, we do.
we love it. We love a good flywheel, and we love a good acronym.
Yeah, I know it's good, right? Put things into like boxes for people. It's nice. It's easy to follow. So the gratitude practice framework, it's called GLOW. So GLOW. I'm going to go through these. But G, ground yourself. So kind of take that pause, shift your attention, like start paying attention to some of the small things you might often overlook. Could be as simple as like a sip of a delicious coffee in the morning. Like, be grateful for that coffee. There's sunlight shining in the window. Be grateful for that. Or you get a text from a friend. Just these small things that are so easy to take for granted. Just kind of ground yourself in that and shift your attention to those small things. So that's the G, ground yourself. L is linger. So savor it. Notice it and then savor it. So stay with that feeling. Let it actually sink in. Like close your eyes, feel it in your body, like 20 seconds, I don't know, 30 seconds, instead of just rushing past it, moving on. So that's the L is linger. O. O is observe. So notice how it starts to shift your mood and energy and perspective. So gratitude, again, like it works and it helps to rewire your brain. So it kind of makes that feeling stick. So notice that. So, ground yourself in it, notice it, savor it, and then notice how it shifts your energy. So really observe that. And then the W, write it down. So capture it in some way. So whether that's, I don't know, just, send a note to somebody about it or write it in a journal or piece of paper, whatever. But just having it there, writing it down, seeing it of, oh, I'm really grateful for this, cup of coffee today, whatever it is, just helps to make it a bit more real and it will help kind of slow you down. So that is the gratitude practice framework. Yeah.
Genuinely love that, and genuinely use this in those days when I'm feeling a little bit out of sorts. Grounding yourself, linger, observing how that changes the feeling, and then writing it down.
Hmm.
Are you a visual person, Whitney?
Yes.
Because if I write something down, and if I try to remember something from earlier, I can picture what I wrote down on the page if I wrote it down. Is that a thing for
Yeah.
you?
A little bit. I know that that's huge for you. I can a little bit. Yeah. I think overall, I writing things down helps me all the time. Like, yes, if I'm preparing for anything, it's like actually pen to paper, writing it out. I used to do like cue cards for studying and all that. So yeah, it certainly helps.
Yeah, I think it's that last step is so important because then it just helps it to stick.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
there you go.
There you go. So yeah, gratitude. That's kind of what we wanted to chat through today. A bit about Waypoint, give you the 3 benefits of gratitude and then a gratitude practice framework that you can use, the glow framework. And yeah, I think gratitude is just something that becomes again just more present, more it'll happen more often. You'll become more aware the more you practice it. So I think if we hope that everyone kind of incorporates a little bit more gratitude into their lives.
So before we let everyone go, what are you grateful for today, Whitney?
Oh, me? I didn't know that was coming. What am I grateful for today? You know what? So, quick aside. I'll try to make this short. I ran a half marathon yesterday and it wasn't great. I I ran it. I didn't run the whole time, which is rare for me. This is my 3rd half marathon I've ever done, and I was sick after Waypoint. I kind of crashed, so I was fighting sickness. I slept like maybe 3 hours on Saturday night, so like the night before the race. I just had no gas in my tank, and I showed up. I did it, and so I think I was just grateful. I'm grateful for my strength. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful that I'm in a place in my life and I'm here. And I was able even to just get to that start line and make it across the finish line, no matter what, how I was feeling. So I think I had a lot of gratitude for that. My initial reaction to, having to actually stop during the race and walk for a little bit, I was frustrated with myself. And then I think today, after reflecting, it's like, you know what? I just need to be grateful for my body and the strength that I do have. And, I think that's what I'm grateful for today. Yeah, that's what I'm grateful for.
That's amazing.
Yeah. What are you grateful for? Turn the table. What are you grateful for today?
Yeah, I did already share the earlier reflection of just really being grateful for you and all the kids and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
everyone's doing. But I think and you sharing that, that's great, and asking the question. I think that I'm grateful. Specifically, I'd say coming into this, it's so funny. Like, you record a podcast and you listen to it. It's like, of course, it's this professional podcast that's been done. Like, what else? What were we doing right before this? Well, I just came from a therapy appointment. So I visited my therapist, who I've been seeing for the past 5 years. And I am just, man, I'm so grateful that a friend of ours recommended that that the two of us connect years ago, and that I have a relationship with a therapist, because
Mm-hmm.
just sitting down and spending time for an hour with her, man, it just unlocked a whole bunch for me. I just feel so much clarity and conviction coming into that conversation. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for I'm grateful for John, who introduced me to the counselor and therapist who I see, because she's had an amazing impact on my life. I'm grateful for that. I'm glad I did that today.
I love that. Everyone should have a therapist.
Everyone needs a therapist.
Everyone needs a good therapist. All right. Well, that's it. That's it for today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We have so many great episodes coming to close of the year. Keep listening. We appreciate you being here. We're grateful that you're here.
We are grateful for you.
Thank you for listening to the Unblock Yourself podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to follow and rate the podcast. Your ratings and feedback mean the world to us. We'd love to stay connected with you via our bi-weekly newsletter called the Vienna 5, where we share ideas and advice that we found helpful on our own journey to live with more intention. You can also find us on LinkedIn and Instagram. For those Gen Z listeners out there, no, we're not on TikTok. But if enough of you ask for it, we'll just have to do it at some point. The links to find us on social are in the show notes. The Unblock Yourself podcast is edited and produced by Bespoke Productions Hub. Thank you for being here.